Time's up. Let's do this.
We're in for a wild night.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 270 of Born to Be Wild, a wild Hearthstone podcast where we have fun, hang out with friends, talking about the wild format of Hearthstone, and spotlighting members of the wild community. I'm your host, Hydralisk. It's great to be back on this wonderful Friday evening here in beautiful British Columbia. I am joined by my fellow host, Schmoopiedady.
I am still upset with you from last week.
I meant it, but I didn't.
Oh, you meant it.
We'll talk later, after the show. For those of you joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. We record this podcast live every Friday evening, sometimes Sunday, at twitch.tv/borntobewildahs, and the video version of this podcast is then posted to YouTube shortly thereafter. Audio versions are also distributed to all podcast apps. However you are watching, listening, or absorbing via osmosis this podcast today, thank you. Yes, you.
Content plug. Schmoopiedady, 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 Schmoopiedady. Schmoopiedady. Before we get into the main topic of the show tonight, I'd like to say a quick thank you to the patrons of our show. Your support means the world to us. If you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, and comment on this video on YouTube. Another simple way to support the show is to leave a review on your podcast platform of choice. If you're watching live on Twitch, we've got some awesome emotes that you can unlock by subscribing to the channel. This is free if you use Amazon Prime. Finally, if you'd like to support the show financially, you can join our Patreon for as little as $1 per month. We have some channels in the Discord that are unlocked by subscribing to the Patreon, where you can see the show coming together each week. Check it out. If you'd like to interact with us personally, please join our Discord, a free and amazing online community of friends from all across the world who love talking about Wild Hearthstone. Links to all of this stuff and more, including our merch, can be found on our website, which is www.borntobewildhs.com. I'll leave off one of the W's. Hydralisk, how's your week?
My week was great. Thank you for asking, Schmoopiedady, Schmoopiedady, Schmoopiedady. So
I read what is on the paper.
I know. And so every once in a while, we like to mess with you and
every once in a while you keep adding a Schmoopiedady, and I'm going to keep on reading it. I have to.
Which makes my week even better. So this past week, I was talking to my wife about how I was having like Red Dead Redemption 2 withdrawals. I love that game, and it's probably my favorite game of all time. And I asked ChatGPT as like, what can I watch or listen to or read or whatever? And it recommended a book that basically everyone in the world has heard of. It's True Grit, right? So if you think back in the day, John Wayne was in this movie, and then they like redid it.
Awesome movie.
Oh yeah. And then they redid it with what's his name, Jeff Bridges. Like,
you should see an old fat man sometime. Yeah, no, awesome movie.
Yeah, like both.
That might
great.
be a different John Wayne movie, but I'm just going to quote it anyway.
Let's go with it. Just run with it. Just own it, man. But anyways, I decided to read the book. It didn't take long, and it was good. Like, it didn't fully fill, that empty space, but it kind of did. And I'd have to go back. I don't think the original movie was as gritty as the book is, but there's some things in there that they may not have put on the screen back in the day and whatnot. But full on good book, and I'm sure a billion of you out there have already read it. But that was my first time, and I've never actually read a Western book in my entire life, and it was good. So that was a win. And then I have moved on with my next Stephen King book. So it is a short story collection called Just After Sunset. I'm a little behind in the short story collections. This is 2008. And so I'm like further along with novels, but a little behind in the short story collections. They usually don't have spoilers for each other, if you know what I mean. So reading them out of order isn't like the worst thing in the world.
Everything's kind of intertwined, right? Like in general, his whole multiverse is kind of all interconnected.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think that I don't want to look into it too deep. I don't think there's any spoilers in other books I've read for this. I think I would have noticed by now. So all good. So that's cool. I'm into that, and I'm getting real close to the end. Then also, so tomorrow, my son and I are going snowboarding for the first time this year. Our local mountain, it's Cypress, is going to be open tomorrow morning. So opening day is kind of like the cool thing to go do, because a lot of the runs they're untouched. You know, there's powder in the trees, all that kind of thing. So we're gonna get up early. Get this is nuts. So we have seasons passes this year, right? And I had to activate. I didn't realize I got a free parking pass with my seasons pass. Cool. Like, didn't realize that extra little bonus.
Pog.
And so I had to activate it, like you put in your license plate and do all that stuff online. And it said how many parking spots there are at the mountain. It just was a figure that it said. How many parking spots do you think are at this mountain resort? If you had to guess, I should have put this in unrelated advice. Just guess. Like,
I'm gonna guess 240.
Okay. It was 31,700 and something.
Whoa, that is way more than I expected. Now, like, I imagine you can get a little creative, right? Like, you can start.
Yeah, I think so.
You can use some shoulders, and you can find some spots where the trees are kind of thin, and you're like, yeah, y'all with a pickup truck, just like go between those two, evergreens or whatever. That is incredible.
Yeah, I knew there was a lot, because what happens is, like, there's this windy road up the mountain, right? And then every once in a while, there's this massive cutout to the
there's like
lots. These
you.
lots on the left-hand side of the highway going up to the resort, and it just gets full of spots. And I always see that there's a couple thousand cars over there, and you move on to the next one. I never really thought about total of 30. It blows my mind. And what if
that's incredible? Do they have shuttles? Do they do shuttles from each lot?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and which I only learned about last year as well, when we got one of the lower lots.
Where you guys park and you're like, "Oh, Will, better hike," and you guys are like just bringing your stuff through the woods.
No, I just saw a group of people standing there. I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" They're like, "We're waiting for the shuttle." I'm like, "There's a shuttle?"
What did you do before that? Did you just walk the whole time?
Yeah, like
did you?
Also, I was supposed to pay, and I didn't know I was supposed to pay either before I got. But whatever. But yeah,
I'll give you my kid's kidney.
Right? No, I know it. No, it's like $10 to park or something. But I had no idea. I had no idea there was that many. Like, I know you spread people out on a mountain resort, and it doesn't seem like that much, but. That's how many parking spots. And then you got like 2 to 4 people in each vehicle. That's nuts. Anyway.
Your context for the size of the ski resorts being big or small might be very different from my context of ski resorts being big or small. The one that I grew up, that was literally the town over from me where I lived, was like, it was two tall hills, and when it snowed you could use the back one. Because then the trails actually had snow on them. But like, it was really special when there was enough snow for the back trails. Otherwise, you had one. It was a ridge. It was called Thunder Ridge. You had one.
Thunder Ridge.
You had the big main face to go down, and then you had a couple of other like ones on the side. There was maybe like 3 or 4 ways to get down the mountain. So this sounds like much bigger than anything that I've probably ever experienced as far as skiing goes.
It's also different, right? We live in different places on this continent,
true.
right? So like we are Rocky Mountain sort of adjacent. We live in what is called the Lower Mainland, but we are in a valley surrounded by massive mountains. So that's I guess the difference, right? You got what do they call them? The Appalachians out your way?
Yeah, my mountains are actually related to the same mountains in England and Scotland and Ireland. And like the ones that like Wales is tucked into, it's the same mountain chain, but because of tectonic shifts, they've been split. So they're about the same, and it's an older mountain chain, so they're kind of worn down. So there's not really a lot of sharp peaks. It's all kind of like rounded out, but it's there. It's been there for a long time. So like yeah, so that's and it goes down like most of the East Coast, the Appalachians.
Cool. Well, that's like basically been my week, other than I feel like I don't have a lot of pressure with my other server stuff. I'm still doing it, but like I'm at a comfortable zone where if I miss like a daily and stuff, like I actually don't care anymore, which is cool. Since I picked it back up, right? So that's neat. I'm glad I have a healthy relationship with the other servers. The only other thing I do sort of have is the fact that my Asia star bonus was super, super low this month because I hadn't touched it in way longer.
That sounds like fun, actually.
I know, right? So it's like it makes me want to jam it a little bit more, right? We got time. It's the 19th, right? So
oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We're gonna be my boy and I are gonna be snowboarding as much as we possibly can. But it's not like we're going every day. Like don't get me wrong. We're gonna try to go like twice a week sort of thing. But I would love to see how far I could push it in Asia. I'm not saying I will get legend, but it just would be kind of fun. It's either I stop now and don't give myself a larger star bonus and save it for January, or like go hard right now. It's one or the other.
If you're gonna win a lot anyway, I think your star bonus is actually gonna go up. So like it's just about whether or not it's just about whether or not you've got the time or the energy or the will to take it as far as you're going to take it.
And it's like, it's already gonna go up. I like would assume, because I'm at the fun place. I'm in the fun place in ladder right now with like...
No, you're like the fox in the hen house. No one should let you free in the fun place because you're going to play the stuff that makes people explode.
Yeah, I'm playing Garona Rogue, and I'm just... It's not even fun for the people that are...
violence. Right.
Yeah, it's not fun for the other people. Yeah. But so basically that's been my week. Electric Sheep City, you've noticed, is not here, but he did say that he hit legend in Wild. He got like 150-ish, which is pretty cool. He also
that's really good.
Came in at EU at like 30 or so, 30 something anyway, and just like killing it. Like I think he was saying that he's a little worried that his EU MMR is going to catch up with him in a little bit, but coming in at 30 is pretty awesome. And then in standard, like 2.9k, like this guy, he's rocking it.
It sounds like he's on like the verge of 11x and 11x and NA. I want in standard. I want to say like usually top 2k is around 11x in standard. So like he's knocking on the door. He's only 900 ranks.
Yeah, well, good for him. No, that's awesome. And yeah, so he's doing some family stuff this weekend. What about you, Schmoopiedady? How was your week?
It's been a week of Fridays. We're basically running out the clock. Like I work in a school in a school system, obviously. So like Monday I did a review day. Tuesday we did our quiz. I got grades in because we've got progress reports that were coming out this week. So I got the progress reports in, and then it was like, all right, what are we doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Can't do anything of consequence. Kids are cutting. Kids are not showing up to school. Attendance issues. Kids are going away early on vacation. Like it's just there's like nothing productive that you can get done. If you want to go hard, you're stupid because like literally something's happening something like no one's buying into that, especially when you're an elective class that no one has to take or has to pass unless it's their last year of science that they need. So I showed Home Alone 1, and I'm like, all right, pick out good physics, bad physics. Let's go. Just as like a tertiary, just kind of like a cover my butt and just say, hey, like, yeah, I gave him something to do, but like, you know, but it's a good movie. So like usually they're actually kind of locked in, and we're like, kind of like, wow, yeah, I want to see what happens. I had one young lady who had never seen it before.
That was my question.
Yes.
So different generation, right? What is the ratio in your classroom of who's seen it and who hasn't?
Oh, almost everybody has seen it. In fact, one young lady, her mom's my age. It's her mom's favorite movie, and so like she's seen it. Like she's quoting Kevin, like, when I grow up and get married, I'm living alone. Like she's apparently quoting that on the daily and like stomping in the middle of the hallway. Sounds like a wonderful lady. No, but it's just like yeah, that's like, you know, just they've all seen it for the most part. And a couple haven't, and the couple who haven't, it's a treat because it's just like, oh man, it's a really good movie. Because it is a really good movie. Everybody else was showing. Oh, what was everybody else showing?
Die Hard.
Everybody else was showing Elf. Which is a great movie. And by the way,
one with Will Ferrell.
Yes. By the way, so you know how Will Ferrell at the end of the snowball fight throws a snowball at a kid who's running away, and then they fall down. You've never seen it? Okay. I know. So like my buddy Rob was with his buddies in Central Park when they were shooting that movie, and they're like, "Hey kids, you want to be in the film?" And so my buddy Rob got recruited to like be a part of Elf. And so now I get to watch my buddy Rob get hit in the back with a snowball from Buddy the Elf every Christmas. I mean, that's cool. And it's not Christmas until I see Rob like basically eat poo-poo. Like it's fantastic. It's awesome. I know the guy who gets hit with that snowball.
Do you like take a picture of your TV and you send it to him going, ha,
I have
it again.
I have. I'll be like, love you, buddy. Watching you just get a face full of grass. And it's funny because like I know when he runs, he's got kind of a shuffle. He's a big guy. He wasn't big when it was shot, but he's a big guy, so he moves like a big guy. So he's got kind of like a shuffle run. And then when he just goes down, like it's like I'm like, yo, those are his mannerisms. It's totally him. So like it's very awesome. Noticeable to me who knows him well enough that yeah. But like everybody was showing Elf, and they're like, oh, good, you're showing a good movie. I'm like, that's right. And then I finished up with the Mythbusters holiday special because there's only like 15 minutes left today. And so we did the Mythbusters holiday special, which is great because not only does it have some pretty good, like the build team has some like decent myths, like, hey, what do you do to keep the leaves on your trees? And some people were adding bleach to their water. Some people were adding Viagra. Some people were adding spray, like hairspray to the needles. Hairspray worked the best, but they did like say like this seems like a fire hazard, like putting hairspray on a pine tree seems like an absolute disaster, and you shouldn't do it. But it did keep the needles the best, and the color looked the best. I think second place was Viagra, but it started looking sickly toward the end. So, but that's a great myth. But they're trying to set up like this epic Rube Goldberg, and you get to see Adam, the red-haired guy, basically crash out every 5 minutes because it shows cutaway of them like trying to make the Rube Goldberg work. And you're an engineering guy, and I dabble, right? And you can imagine this big, long, complicated 52-element Rube Goldberg, and how like stuff that's going wrong that's never gone wrong before is all of a sudden going wrong. And like it's take 47, and like Adam's just like he's swearing. They have to bleep everything. Jamie's just like sick of him already because like his attitude's crap, and he's just like, man, like what did you expect? It's a Rube Goldberg. And they're trying to explain that, like, normally with one of those big setups, they have like 8 weeks to like fully test everything and fully design everything, and they're trying to do it in like a couple days, or they have like a week, and it's very funny to watch. It's very funny to watch other people crash out, which is probably why people watch me play Hearthstone. So it's been a week of Fridays. My daughter has flu A, whatever that means. So she missed her holiday concert, which she was heartbroken
Is it not
about.
just like a flu?
I have no idea. You know what? My wife typed flu A in the text message, and whether it was a typo or not, I'm not sure, but I think there are probably multiple flus. And so my daughter has the A one, so she got an A in something. That's good. She missed her holiday concert. She was devastated. She missed Pajama Day. She's devastated. She's probably going to she will miss her first birthday party that she was ever invited to, which I think she's hopefully going to forget about it. I don't know. Otherwise, she'll be devastated again. But yeah, just bad timing being sick. We'll probably also get it. Yay. Probably won't see me next Friday. It should be a fun freaking time. But in Hearthstone news, nothing crazy last week, but I think one of the most fun streams I've had in a long time. NHL fan shoveled an article over to me that says the best decks you've ever seen in the last 5 minutes from Reddit. Yeah. And it was they were decks built by a guy who used to play high-level Wild Hearthstone, but hadn't touched the game in a few years and still hasn't touched the game. He just looked at cards and was like, let me build some decks. And, like, some of the decks were cursed. Like, the first one I played was Astral Champions Malygos Druid. So it had Astral Communion in it. It had Malygos in it. And it had Champions of Azeroth in it. And pieces that you would need to make those decks all kind of work together. The problem being, of course, that if you Astral Communion the wrong pieces away, you're literally never winning the game. So you're gambling that you're never doing that. I didn't, and I won that game. But, you know, it was another one of these, like, these nights where it's like, all right, let's take this Garbo from Reddit and see if I can win with it. And ironically, I went like about 50-50. Some of them looked like turbo garbage, and I scammed anyway. The Even Warrior had Odin in the ETC, which was making me crash out live on, because I was like, I have to choose between Theotar and Odin right now. I'd love to just play Odin so I could constantly pressure the opponent, but you know what? I think Theotar gives me the best option to win, and it did. But chat got to gamba a little bit on whether or not I'd win the games or lose the games, and people made a bunch of points. Nice. Some people lost entire fortunes. It was just, you know, fun to be had by all. And it was one of the few streams where I usually have a good sense or a good finger on the pulse of, am I winning the game? Am I losing the game? Am I winning the game? Am I losing the game? I have not had a stream in a long time where I played so many games where 1 minute I was winning, I was sure I was going to win. The next minute I was positive I was going to lose, and it would swing back and forth a couple times after that. Like, it's just like incredible games. So that was fun. That was a lot. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and big thanks to, I think it was Cena was the guy who made the decks and posted them. Very creative. Some of them were trash. I think he knew it was trash. He didn't test any of them anyway. So, like, you know, we went in like that anyway. But they were better than my usual viewer decks. I went back to viewer decks the next day, and I just started getting the floor wiped with me because it, like, you know, we're playing Saviors of Olden Quest Priest with no synergy whatsoever to the quest. We're just playing it because we like the quest. So anyway, what's the news?
Welcome to the news. The news is so good.
Well, we got an esports announcement, which I think is pretty cool because, remember Heroes of the Storm? Do you remember that game? Never play that?
Nope.
And no? Well, it's pretty fun.
Remember Blister Guy hardcoring you through it? No, that was a different game.
That was Warcraft Rumble.
I remember Blue Train was apparently toxic playing it.
No, probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
Probably.
I only played Heroes of the Storm in beta. But,
We love Blue Train. I love Toxic Blue Train. Toxic Blue Train's funny.
Yeah, especially when he was playing on EU. Blue Train, if you're listening. Actually, I saw
Toxic
him
on
I saw
EU?
him-
No one is toxic on EU. I have never heard of a single toxic individual on EU.
No, I saw him online yesterday. So like,
How could people who learned the English playing League of Legends ever be toxic? It just doesn't make any sense to me. No, you haven't heard of this? No, so like there's a sense that like a lot of people who play on the EU server, like one of the ways they've learned English is interacting through internet interactions. And so like if your internet interaction is like, oh, scrub, get good. That's why EU's always so toxic, because like this is like this is like considered like normal behavior, where it's just like, I don't know, this is how people have been talking English to me my whole life. This is how I'm going to talk English.
this is how we speak. We learn from the internet.
Right. They learned English from the internet. So like in part I have some sympathy, but at the same time it's like, no, we're better than this.
I used to work with a Bosnian guy, and he taught me Bosanski is what he called it. Anyone out there can correct me if I am saying it wrong, but he only taught you when you learn a new language, they teach you all the bad words first, right?
Of course.
Like
Right.
that is what I learned.
You can't talk to a grandmother with the language that he taught you.
No, I was taught all of the bad things. So
You can't
I
even
get it.
ask
And
where to go to the bathroom. You can say things like that you are going to the bathroom on somebody's face, but you can't say like where is the bathroom. Right? Yeah, I know how it goes.
yeah.
We're just as bad.
Yeah.
We're just as bad. We're just EU in reverse. There you go.
So anyway, I guess I was getting there with we got like a good Hearthstone esports announcement, which I guess was the reverse of what historically has happened to
100%.
the other game we were just talking about. But so the general 2026 esports overview is that the Hearthstone esports is expanding in 2026. Expanding is the keyword they chose to use, with more tournaments, larger prize pools, and new qualification paths. So the World Championship will be held live at BlizzCon in Anaheim in September 2026. There's going to be competitive seasons. So if you are watching on the stream or watching YouTube video, we've got the chart showing this. So the seasons are going to be winter, which is January, February. We got spring, March, April, and summer, which is the May, June section. Each season will include a playoff, a Masters Tour Championship, and qualifications pass are similar to 2025. You're going to earn competitive points through ranked ladder and qualify with the open qualifier tournaments. The new thing that they have, so this is different, is the Blitz weekend, playoff Blitz weekends. So this is being introduced in 2026. So it's a series of shorter open tournaments at the end of each season. There's lower player caps, single elimination format, and the winner of each event gets a playoff spot. So that's kind of cool. New way to get your foot in the door. And the playoffs are reintroduced. Well, they were reintroduced in 2025 and being expanded upon in 2026 with just in general, there's more open qualifiers. We've got the new Blitz weekends, and there's going to be broadcasts for all this stuff. So that's cool. Basically, the prize pool. Go ahead, Schmoopiedady.
I was going to say, it's incredible. Like this is the exact opposite of where we were a couple years ago, where it was just like, yeah. We're dialing back the esports. The esports basically look dead. This is a trend way in the other direction. They are committing to way more esports. And I was I can't. The topic came up in my server where one of the wild players was like, "Well, why would I even watch? Why would I watch any of this?" And I'm like, honestly, like I always get baited into playing standard whenever I watch like the World Championship or the Masters Tour. It's just like you see some really good players playing at the top level, and it makes it makes even a format like standard where some things seem like a little bit too structured or kind of slow. It makes it so much more fun. Especially when you have really talented guys like Pocket Train or Maxi that are willing to bring some decks or Gyu that are willing to bring some decks that kind of like buck the train. So like this is big W for the game in general. Just like if the esports is healthy and it's vibrant and like more of the community can kind of participate and have buy-in, and then we're watching it as well. Like it's all just good.
Awesome. Yeah, full agree. So for the Masters Tour specifically, the Masters Tour Championship was 2 events in 2025. It is now going to be 3 Master Tours in 2026 with the addition of the Winter Championship. The prize pool is $50,000 per event for the Masters Tours. The qualification updates are top 4 players from each region, which is APAC, EMEA, Americas. They qualify. That is up from 2. It was originally top 2. It is now top 4. This also includes the top competitive point earner from each region and the global top earner as well. So that brings us to 4 from 2. The top 3 players from each Masters Tour Championship advance to the World Championship. So, World Championships. This is BlizzCon 2026. So we get to go on the big stage, which is really cool. That's going to be in Anaheim, as I mentioned earlier. There's going to be 16 total competitors. So 9 are going to be from the top 3 Masters Tours. 4 are going to be from China's competitive system that they have, which I'm not sure all the details on what China has. And then
China's
3
crazy.
are, yeah.
China has so many players that China does like a bunch of like, they'll do like a 200. I've heard tales of them doing like a 200 person 1-day tournament. Like everybody's in a room playing against each other. And it's just like, I forget what the term is, but it's just like you put a bunch of venomous things all in a little pot together, and whichever one comes out is the deadliest. Like that's what China does. It's actually nuts.
Yeah, I believe it. And then the last 3 of the 16 total competitors are the highest global competitive point earners across all the seasons. And that is a $500,000 USD prize pool.
Holy
for the World Championship. Yep. Right?
That's a lot.
Start getting points, Schmoopiedady.
I mean, I know it's a prize pool, so it's spread out across a bunch of places.
I know, but it's top heavy. It is still top heavy,
cash
right?
to spread around. That's incredible.
Yeah. And so the world champion will be crowned on September 13th, 2026. Cool. I think it's good news. I like that they are putting resources into this Master Tour, the Masters Tour, the World Championship, everything. The love for the game, but the devs is not gone. They're pushing this with esports. This is, to me, a really good sign. Like, how does this make you feel?
I mean, I think what ends up happening is it ends up making everything better. It ends up giving us, it ends up like, it filters down to everything. Balance has to be better. Design has to be better. Like it starts putting more emphasis on all aspects of the game. And also, like I said, some people get dreams. Some people say, I can join an open. I can join a qualifier. I could be world champion. And they throw their hat in the ring for a weekend. It's just cool.
Yeah, agreed. It's awesome. All right, so next up in the news, And part of me, well, I put on my old man glasses, which I don't actually own. So what that means is I'm going to lean into my screen and squint. So the signature Murazon thing, which is kind of cool. So on Friday, December 19th, that is today, it was announced that they're rolling out a heal up that adds the signature version of the Murazon Unbounded card to the collections of thousands of eligible players. So they stated that we know that the incorrect info in the collection caused confusion and that they've worked hard to make this right. Therefore, the signature card will be granted to all players that obtained before the fixed date of September 2nd, the following 180 regular Across the Timeways packs, so obtained through purchases including gold, giveaway pre-purchase bundle codes, or purchased pre-purchased bundles. The other option is if you had 20 or more golden packs obtained through purchases, including gold and or real cash, giveaway pre-purchase bundles codes or purchased / pre-purchase bundles. So if you meet this criteria, signature Murazon Unbounded will appear in your collection once the heal up, I guess that's what they're calling it, is complete. Thanks for your patience while we sorted this out. So I logged in today and I got the thing.
Same.
Yeah, so I guess just because I had pre-purchased, that's why I got it. I met this criteria.
I think there were apparently complaints that it was listed you could get it in certain bundles, and so people bought those bundles thinking they could get the signature Murazon Unbound. It was not available through those means, and people complained and were upset, and Blizzard decided this was something that they need to make people whole, and they didn't have a good way to determine who exactly was upset and went through means to try and get signature Murazon, so they just played it safe and gave signature Murazon to anybody that looked like they remotely met the criteria or attempted to in the first place. So like I also got it. I logged in, I also got it. I was like, all right, cool. I don't know which of these two criteria that I met, because I don't remember. Like I didn't really.
Did you buy golden packs?
I mean, I bought golden packs, but not golden packs for this. But maybe like I might have gotten some bundles with some Blizzbucks. I'm not sure. I don't know. I got gifted some Blizzbucks, so maybe when I did some of the bundles there, I'm not sure. I don't know. But
yeah, because I only pre-purchased the mega bundle. I didn't get the second one this time around. I think I just used gold for the rest of the expansion this time, but I still qualified.
I almost always because of my collection, I almost always exclusively just get the ranked bundles. So I get the standard packs from hitting gold, hitting silver, hitting whatever in standard. I don't get all of them. Like when you get to diamond, it starts getting very cosmetic and more like, oh, get these 5 golden standard packs and 3 legendaries that I already have. So like I don't buy those. But the first one in silver is just like, it's like, I forget if it's like $8 for 15 packs. I'm like, yeah, I'll get 15 standard packs. And the next one's like, hey, here's a little bit more. I forget the exact amount, but you know what I mean? But like, they're all sort of reasonably priced and they're all standard packs. So those become new expansion packs when the next expansion comes out, because I'll have all the old cards anyway. So it's a way for me to basically fill out my collection without having to do pre-orders.
I've never done it that way. I'm curious as to like what the difference is really like. Like I do appreciate that they have the rank bundles. They change as you rank up and everything. I've never once looked into it, like what is the difference.
Yeah, they're usually pretty good deal. So like if you have every card that in standard, they become the next expansions packs. So it's like,
yeah,
all right,
which
cool.
is like, that's cool. That's one of my biggest complaints about, you know, along the expansion track that we have, and Tavern Brawl and all this stuff. Like, you're just always earning something for an expansion that you own everything of already. And so that's been something that I don't like. But funny thing is, I complain about that as a NA main, but since I've been playing
it's fantastic
now,
everywhere
again,
else. 100%,
free to play once again, and it's been a while, I'm like, wait a minute.
This is great.
I see the other side. Like, forever I am.
Oh yeah, it was never for us, right? It's never for the whales.
I've understood that.
And
but
that's okay,
I don't think I've ever felt it until recently. I could finally empathize. I suppose is like the actual meaning. I get it more than I got it before. Instead of sympathize, I can empathize.
And people will you know, see me on stream and like, Schmoopy, why do you have like 140 something unopened packs? And it's like, because they're all standard. I'm like, I'm just stockpiling for the next expansion, right? Like, if I spend like $20 now on whatever, it's like you know, 30 packs between the two bundles, and they're all the same thing. It's like I'm pre-ordering, but I'm basically doing it in steps, and hopefully for less money than the actual pre-order. Though the pre-orders are usually pretty good value anyway. Yes, Hydra.
Fair warning. You know how they let you open your packs early?
Yeah, you never do it early with those. Yes, you don't do that.
Never, ever open your standard packs.
Do not. No.
For the new expansion.
The cards are not out yet. They're not in that pool. The cards are
not out yet. They're not in that pool. You will be sorely disappointed.
Which is I always play the broken deck that uses 0 new cards for the intro brawl.
Because you would think, I mean, you have to put some thought into this, right? I've made this mistake myself before. Like, you can open your new packs. Cool, I opened this many things. Oh, sweet. Wait, I've got standard packs. Let's open those. Let's see what else I get. Wait a minute. They are not active yet. Only the other ones. So be very, very, very careful. I've made the mistake myself. I've made worse mistakes.
You have.
I'll tell you that.
They're sad.
My mistakes. Oh my gosh. Go back and listen to
We won't rehash the pre-order. We won't rehash the Asia pre-order.
That one was horrible. The fact that Blizzard used to, even though there was a new expansion released, when you went to the old store, they had the old expansion highlighted and not the newest one. That's the way it used to be for some reason.
And then
I was just like, for some reason, they wouldn't highlight the new one.
Yeah.
And then you like click, buy the new one. It's not the new one. Oh my gosh, I just bought 40 packs of the old expansion.
Unlucky.
Yeah, awful. I've made some terrible mistakes in this game. So it's funny because you mentioned the Asia mistake. You'd like to think that my Asia is free to play. It mostly is, other than when I pre-ordered on it by accident.
Little boost ones. Little push.
Yeah, but in Canada, a mega bundle is a $10,000. So it's like $100, right?
Like, you actually have to sell your kidney in order to pre-order.
And it was like, oh my god, I spent $100 on a server that is just supposed to be for fun, and now I have to spend another. I actually, I emailed Blizzard, like I put in a ticket. I was like, can you guys help me out here? Like, it was I totally did it in the wrong spot. Like, can you fix this? Just no response. Okay.
Server, I hardly know her.
It was the other time was I emailed Blizzard one time where I accidentally disenchanted patches. It was so funny. This is back in Mean Streets. I disenchanted my golden patches because I opened a golden patches originally.
Right. Right.
And I disenchanted it because I was like looking at it and I didn't know. I don't know what I did.
And you clicked the button, and then you clicked off, and you're like, oh no, too much.
Yeah. And I was like, Blizzard, idiot wild player, disenchanted patches. Can you please give me back patches? Also, no response. They probably get a lot of dumb emails like that. Anyway, let's move into our discussion topic where we discuss budget decks. Schmoopiedady. I heard you're a bit of an expert recently on this topic.
So it's been forever since I bothered to sit down and make a video on like budget decks for Wild, because I haven't felt like I was in a position to really make a good like, hey, these are decks that cost X amount of dust or less, or don't have a legendary. So I made a rule for myself. No crafted legendaries. And I tried to keep it under or around 3k dust. There is one exception in this list, but there's a lot of really good decks right now that are wicked cheap. And I just wanted to highlight that because we were just on a standard podcast, right? Like Bread and Butter is a standard podcast. They try to do a very competitive thing. They're like, guys, why would we get in the Wild? And we try to give them reasons. And like, I don't know, Sheep was baying at the moon. You were making fun of me. I was crying in the corner. Like, I don't know how helpful we really were as far as like advocating for Wild as a format. But
I heard it was like herding cats.
Yeah, herding cats is sounds about right. I remarked before the show, my favorite part about doing that podcast and doing that episode was none of us had to be responsible, and thus none of us were. Not even like a little bit close to keeping us on track or on topic, and like and that made for a fantastic episode.
Agreed, 100%.
Tito made the classic mistake of agreeing to edit the entire thing and send it to you before the show, and so like what a sucker. Anyway, he didn't know how much we could yap. So anyway, a couple of the best decks in the game are budget, no legendaries. So let's check them out. Let's see what happens first. I don't know what's going to show up on stream first. So
Nazmani, man.
Nazmani Priest. Nazmani Priest. It is tailing off as far as the population goes, and on at least NA right now, people are playing less and less of this deck. I don't know if they're sick of it. I don't know what, but there are 0 legendaries in this deck. There are a couple of epics. Some of them are fringe. Worth noting that Gift the Naru, Vivid Nightmares, these are not cards that see a lot of play literally anywhere else in Priest except for Priest combo decks. However, it's not like they're so unfortunate or so bad that they won't pop up some other time.
I mean, everyone has Shadow Visions, right?
Oh, Shadow Visions is a good one. I mean, not everybody runs Shadow Visions, but Shadow Visions is the kind of card you run in your Reno pile and like nobody bats an eye. Right, like that's why I didn't mention. I'm like, yeah, Shadow Visions is fine. I don't think you actually play Shadow Visions in Reno Priest anymore. Like, I don't know if there's an actual Wild meta deck that plays Shadow Visions. That being said, actually there probably is. Equilibrium, like the quest Priest probably plays Shadow Visions. Like it's not a bad card, right? It's 2 mana, find a copy of a spell in your deck. It's not a bad card. It's sometimes you want that copy to stay in your deck. Sometimes you want to filter it out, so you go with Thrive into the shadows instead. 6 on one, have dozen on the other. But this deck is pretty simple. Copy of Nazmani Priest, a Nazmani Bloodweaver, excuse me. Get a Stone Tusk Spore in your hand. Get Lightspeed in your hand. Spam Lightspeeds. Get enough Bloodweavers out there that the discounts, everything in your hand is 0. Play funny white, green cards until your opponent explodes. Make a big bore. Basically, this is one of the 2 decks that is always sort of making people's experience at High Legend miserable. The other one is Hostage Mage. But it's cheap. It's cheap and it's accessible, and anybody can go and can play it. One of the best decks in the format. This is it.
Right on. Well, the next one that we have, Treant Druid.
I played this to EU Legend last weekend, I believe. I forget. Did I do it? Did I do it before Bread and Butter? I think I did it before Bread and Butter.
I think you did.
I think I did before Bread and Butter. So I from my list, I did not run Floop. I ran a second copy of Mark of the Lotus, so you can imagine
you did.
like you could.
Because we talked about it on Bread and Butter. I remember this did come up. Yeah. Sorry. Totally go ahead.
No. Like for 1,880 dust, you can get one of the premier fun aggro decks in the format. It's a little bit miracle-y. It has some miracle turns. There's a lot of thinking as far as what do I accept in the mulligan, a lot of conditional keeps. There's a lot of fun turns where it's like, do I overload 2 more mana for the next turn and draw a bunch and functionally skip my next turn? Or do I get the buffs in? Do I get the draw in? There's a lot of little decisions to make for an aggro deck, where a lot of aggro decks people talk about being brain dead or like being easy to play. This spends all like this, since you basically lose to a board clear a lot of times, or at least you could lose to a board clear if you dump too many resources into it. There's constantly a tension of what board clears do my opponents probably have? How do I play around those? How do I try to bait those out? How much do I sell into a board now? Do I make a 2/2 Treant, or do I use tree enforcements to give something taunt instead so that they can't hit my face? It's a really fun, interesting deck with a lot of decisions. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, so I have seen this deck recently, and I think it's funny because I got a little scared because they're starting to fill the board like quite quickly. And, you know, I've been playing Garona Rogue, right? And it got to the point where I'm trying to decide, like, am I trying to keep their board clear because they're going to buff all these things? They're going to get at me, or am I gonna stick to my game plan? Do I gotta be more aggro? I've lost to this deck as Garona. Like, it's a legit deck. Like, it's good.
100%.
Yeah.
Low sample size. It looked like it could be one of the best decks in the format. It looks like it could be tier 1. It has some really good matchups, specifically into Nazmani Priest and Malikos Druid, which are 2 of the, like, some people, they would consider those like basically deck 1, deck 2. Warsong Warrior might actually be up there as like another like best deck in the format, but it's at such a low sample size, no one's playing it. More people are starting to play Treant Druid, so the sample size is getting up there. The number's dropping a little bit. It looks like the win rate might not keep it in tier 1, but it's kind of a hard pilot, in my opinion. I got into a fight about this today, actually, about whether or not Treant Druid is hard. It's kind of a hard pilot. It's kind of a weird pilot. Not all the lines are intuitive, but it's a really cool deck.
There's not even an epic in the list. There's not even an epic.
Rares and commons. Rares and commons. You could cut a Mark of the Lotus and run Floop instead. Just the minion Floop, because he's a free owl. He's a free blood treant. If you're desperate, you could pay 3 mana for a 3/4 treant. Okay. Spider Tank Treant, let's go. But yeah, no, like, cool deck, and actually one you might enjoy, since you like some smorky stuff. This has some smorkitude. I made a guide on how to play this on my own personal YouTube channel.
Believe it or not,
for a hot second.
Yeah, it's not shameless.
Why would you not plug your own stuff on the podcast? Yeah. No, on EU and Asia, I played a lot of like token druid and all that sort of stuff. So you probably have the cards, or you're close.
I probably have most of the cards. So, and if I didn't, it would be easy. This is 1,880 dust total. Just find like the random weird golden epic you opened and disenchant it and get the rest of the cards you don't have.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very. I put it on. I put it on EU. EU is actually, this is what I climbed to on EU, because I was just like, you know what. EU, I've had some fun. I built Mech Rogue on EU. I built a couple other decks. I built Warsong on EU, and then I like basically had to scrape together whatever was left at the bottom of the barrel, and I made this, and I was like, yay! So this is one of my favorites.
Nice. All right, so next up we have Burnlock, or if Sheep was here, he would ask you if it was Burstlock.
And then I'd have to reach to the monitor and slap sheep. No, this is what Zulok has become. Zulok has distilled down to sketch artist draws Soul Barrage, copy Soul Barrage with Expired Merchant, blow up Expired Merchant, and use your Chamber of Vicidius and Soul Fires to discard the Soul Barrages for 1 billion damage. And anything else you can do in between point A and point B to sort of facilitate that, good for you. This version is trying 2 Cult Neophytes over a Devious Coyote and a Frenzied Fellwing. Because it's sometimes tough to get those minions down if you don't deal enough damage. If you don't have Tachyon Barrage early, it's almost impossible to get the Fellwings down for less than 2 mana. So using Cult Neophyte to delay the Astral Communion turn, Copium, or to place pressure on questline DHs, or just generally just sort of pressure people who are holding their coin for a board clear or a silence or something. I really like that. We don't have a lot of strong turn 2 plays. So I'm trying, this is the list that I would try if I were tryharding Burnlock right now. I would cut the Smothering Starfish for another Fellwing, but honestly, Smothering Starfish is so good in the meta right now. It's worth the Epic Craft, in my opinion.
Dude, Cult Neophyte, that's been a card that's been a discussion for a long time. I like it. I've always liked Cult Neophyte. I'm not the biggest fan of tech cards. I think tech cards are usually not the greatest idea, like in a lot of lists and stuff. But Cult Neophyte, I think, is just general against like so many things. It's so good. Blister Guy, you can feel free to light me up on that one. But
it's like Ashen Elemental. Like Ashen Elemental is so good in this list because you need to get the chip damage in, and there's a lot of decks in Wild that want to draw cards. So like you can deal like a Pyroblast worth of damage just throwing down an Ashen Elemental if you watch a questline DH with a Sigil of Time up.
Yeah. And this one is 3,300 dust. A little more expensive than what we were looking at, but not too bad.
Epics,
Not too bad. Got some epics in there, but you may have some of these already if you're playing some other decks. All right, so up next, this one we just got labeled Hunter. What do we have here? For 2980.
Yeah, this is a Chinese Face Hunter. I've had a lot of success with this.
Let's go.
So the main plays that you're looking to facilitate are you're using your Observer of Myths to take a board that's like already like kind of aggressively statted and aggressively stat it even more. We've got Whoppertinger as the only beast in the list so that when we cast something like, I'm looking for the exact title of the card, because 2 mana, Scavenger's Ingenuity, and then throw a Smuggler's Crate on it. You're making a 1 mana 6/6 that copies itself. So you can get some, and Observer of Mysteries, again, will trigger for each Whoppertinger that is summoned. So you'll get 2 Observer of Mysteries ticks for a big old fat Whopper. We've also got Patrick Pals, which is a good card in here. We're doing only 1 copy because we're trying to use the Kaldori Fletcher, which is one of our new cards, constantly making our hero power 0 mana, as long as we keep our board very small. We've got Awakening Tremors so that we can make, little bursting Jormungers, and we can slap some bananas on them with a bunch of bananas so that they actually stick around. Wild Spirits, I would say Wild Spirits is a great craft, I think, in Wild. Wild Spirits, until the Wild Seeds get power crept, and having a free 3/3 rush, having a 3 mana 3/1 rusher one turn, and the next turn printing a 2/5 taunt, it's not going to suck for a long time. And so watching, printing those, you'll probably use those in some sort of Hunter tech someplace. The Precise Shots are just new cards. I can't really speak to the Precise Shots. This deck doesn't draw too many cards. It plays like a normal Face Hunter where it's like, the cards are the cards I have, and whatever I top deck, and you kind of go from there.
We got Cult Neophyte in here too, hey?
Yep. Observer of Mysteries into Whoppertinger into Cult Neophyte, pretty good play.
Like it a lot. All right, so the next one is Starship Paladin.
It's actually Mech Paladin. It's called
I was going to
Starship
say
Paladin.
the first card is Click Clocker.
Yeah, the card that triggers the Starship Paladin label is either the SCV, which I call the Skiv, which probably makes somebody who's StarCrafty like you cringe. I love doing.
Have you never played SCV football?
I've never played Skiv football.
Is somebody out there, please DM me or put in the comments if you've played SCV football. It will make me feel way better about myself. Or I'll just feel old if no one actually responds. But okay, tell me about...
Tell them if you've played Skiv football.
Skiv.
Anyway, the Ultra Capacitor... If I'm piloting that thing, I'm calling it the Skiv. I don't care. Like, that's like... You can't tell me that's military jargon. The Ultra Capacitor is also a Starship piece, which is really cute. It's 2 mana, get +1/+1 for every other minion that you're controlling. So it's really cute because, like, let's say you've dropped a couple of Skivs, and the Ultra Capacitor costs, like, 1, and maybe you've had 2 die. So, like, it's actually +2/+2 for every minion that you control. When you do bring it back, you can bring it back when you got, like, you know, it's Mech Paladin. You got a bunch of 1/1s and 1/2s, and, like, nothing's really all that threatening. And then all of a sudden you get, like, a big old threat that you've built up that's just sort of sitting there dormant to get triggered whenever you want to trigger it. So that's pretty cool. And then you can throw a Bubble Bot on top of it, and it's like, holy crap, this is really going. Crusader's Aura is a good enough card that there's an entire standard deck right now that's built around functionally Arena 1 and 2 drops. Muster for battle, and then throw a Crusader's Aura behind it and hope your opponent dies because they can't handle Crusader's Aura. Crusader's Aura is freaking broken. So this is like your Mech Pally of old. It's got one other cute little trick to it. It's got Violet Treasure Gill, which is a Murloc, not a mech. But it will always cast Radar Detector. It'll always tutor it from your deck. So functionally, you are running 4 copies of Radar Detector in this deck, which Radar Detector is a very good card. Worth noting, this deck was very high win rate, low sample size a couple expansions ago. At least last expansion, I know it was. It was in my my personal streams. Low sample size, high win rate Survivor. I think it went 5-2. Like it had a decent performance for what I expect from compared to what I expected of it. I did make 2 changes. It was running both Zilliaxes, OG Zilliax and Swarmiax. I hate Swarmiax. I think Swarmiax is a dog water card. It doesn't give health anymore. It's hard to discount to a low enough extent that you even really care about it. I know it's got a big old butt. I don't really care. I cut both of those cards for 2 Skyclaws. Skyclaw works great with the deck. It's trying to go wide. It adds +1 attack, so functionally it's like having Swarmiax anyway, but it's cheaper. Like it just so like that's what I've been using.
Way more swarmier.
That's what I've been using, and I've been very happy with it. The performance is pretty good. This deck is largely untested. You're basically going off of my vibe, saying that I promise it's good. I promise it's good. Like I'm not saying that I'm not saying any of these decks. The Treant Druid is like knocking on tier 1 if it's not tier 1 already. Nazmani Priest is probably tier 1. The Face Hunter's doing great from one Chinese user. I've won a bunch of games with it. Probably like a tier 2-ish deck. This is probably like a top tier 3, tier 2-ish deck. You're gonna scam some people with this. Sometimes you get blown out, but like if you miss Mech Paladin, looking at you, I drink coffee. If you miss Mech Paladin, it's not dead. It just looks like this.
Well, and you most likely, like, if you open any packs from any of the expansions, you have everything here. The only epics are the Radar Detector and Crusader Aura. And everyone has Crusader Aura, right? Because
yeah, it's free. It's with core. Right, it's in core. The Radar Detector is a risk as far as crafting goes because, like, it's really good in one deck, but that deck is usually, like, no one's playing this deck. I literally came up with this deck as a budget deck or, like, an option and then chose to refine it. Like, I changed 2 cards because I'm like, no one's playing this, but, like, I don't think this is bad. I think this is probably pretty good into Astral Communion and stuff like that. Like, you can get a security automaton popping off pretty early, which is not something like there's no the you know, there are druid decks that have no early removal right now, and you can kind of lean on that. You can kind of scam some wins. So that's kind of what I'm going with this.
Yeah, I smell it. You're stepping in. All right, let's go to Miracle Rogue.
I got bullied into including this list.
So it's a little pricier. This is 3,840. Of course, because we've got to have the Arcane Giants, right? Breakdance,
Right, the
Secret
Arcane
Passage,
Giants,
that kind of thing.
I'm assuming Arcane Giant is actually going to have its stocks go up as Wild continues, not down. I think it's going to be easier and easier to cheat out, not harder and harder. Free 8/8s on an early turn, I think, are going to be good for a long, long time. So I actually don't mind the Arcane Giant craft. Secret Passage.
Oh, 100%.
Still an amazing card. It gets cut
good.
from a lot of decks. It's still up there with when it's you have to build around it. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say something super funny. So, you know how I had mentioned that I've been playing on my other servers recently? Well, I still had Odd Rogue created.
Oh, no. Oops.
Guess what doesn't work when...
You're probably like, where's my hero power? And then you top deck the Secret Passage and you're like...
That's what's wrong. Anyway, go ahead.
Now you just rip a gear shift instead, I guess. But Breakdance, good craft. Prep is in core. So I got bullied because I'm like, no. I can't play Miracle Rogue without Shadow of Demise. I want my backup. Me personally, I want my backup copy of Breakdance. I want my extra coin for the pop-off. I want my extra Shadow Step because that's sort of an important card now to either use on my Scribbling Scribe or to bounce my Neophyte one extra time or to get more from my greedy partner. Like I like having my extra spell, but literally like I have Corvette, I have NHL, and they're like, Shadow Demise is not important. Just sub it for a Neophyte. I'm like, fine. So I got bullied by better players than me, but this is a budget deck and it's fun.
Once again, Cult Neophytes.
And it's fun, and it beats aggro decks unless you're like get hyper aggroed really super early. And it also like you can do okay into slot piles and control, especially with the Neophytes, because you can kind of like push away certain removal options and make Zeph a little funny. So this is good.
Okay, what do we have next? We have a deck that I don't like, but let's talk about it anyways. Libram Paladin.
Yeah, so what if you don't have Linessa? Like, Libram Paladin on its own is pretty cheap. Only 3,800 dust. I took Crusader's Aura and I slotted it in where the Linessa goes. Both provide bursts. Crusader's Aura, like, you go pretty wide as a Libram Paladin. Crusader's Aura can give you value there. It's nice to have Aura up, and then you drop down the Chillblade Champion after you buff it. You won't be making copies of Divinity, oh well, but, like, this is a great budget option, and what's, I think, really attractive, especially for standard players, who I'm kind of gearing this video towards. In my mind's eye, it's like, okay, you're a standard player. You don't want to spend any legendary. You don't want to craft any legendaries for a deck in Wild, but you'll play something that doesn't have any legendaries. That's pretty cheap. This is pretty cheap. This is pretty effective. I even have a guide again on my channel on how to play Libram Paladin. This exact list, we're using 0 new cards, because new cards added into Libram Paladin suck, and there's definite reasons for why we chose all the cards that we chose. Yeah, no, cheap, effective. There's a reason why you see so many of them.
Makes sense. There's a lot. All right, so Astral Communion.
Now, the dust count is a little bit of a misnomer.
A little, okay. Tell me why.
The legendaries are free, but they're not listed as free via Donkey's totaling. So the total dust for this deck is actually 4,800. This is pushing the limits of like what I would consider budget. But let's say you really, really love big tech decks and you cannot lie, and you want to play Astral Communion Druid. This is a budget version of that deck. This is a budget version of that deck. So I'm leaning into the Seismopods, which was a new card where, you know, they're buffing things in our deck, and then we're dropping down Scorching Observers, or we're dropping down Briarspawn Drakes. But really, it's including good cards like, you know, Death Beetles and Carriers and Hearthstone Brew, which are the real cards that kind of blow out the game anyway when you play it. You can absolutely get more expensive with this, but the fun thing about Astral Communion is it's kind of like, it's, well, we would have called it in college, we would have called it jungle juice. Like, you took whatever liquors you had around in the house and you poured it into like a big old bucket and you served that to friends.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, this is the jungle juice deck of Wild. You can kind of put in whatever weird concoction you want to and can kind of make it work. I have some very strong feelings about what I will play in Astral Communion Druid because I'm picky like that, and I'm, you know, I'm extra. But you can get away with things that are like fun cards too. And so like we've got Avatar of freaking Hearthstone, man. Like, that's it's okay. Like, it's fine. It's not optimal, but like, it's fine. And so that's fun.
All right. And the final deck we have.
I'm sorry. One more thing I want to say about the budget list. That's actually the list when I did my how to play Astral Communion Druid video. I played the budget list. I didn't play my full speed list. I'm like, all right, and let's say you build the budget list. This is how you play it. And I played, I think, 4 games fit, went 3-1. Like, you mulligan the same. It's not as powerful in the pop off. So like, it does work. Some people have told me, hey, played your budget Astral Communion list to Legend. Awesome. Does work.
Awesome. That's amazing feedback, honestly. That's cool.
That's my favorite.
You know what?
That's my favorite thing to do whenever I do any of this content. Is like, if I find you your favorite deck, that's perfect for me.
Yeah. No, that's great. All right, so the final deck that we have is Elemental Mage. This is like, if you are dust poor, as broke as you can be in this game, you can still play this deck. All right, this is 1,600 dust, the cost of 1 legendary.
The cost of 1 legendary. I love this deck to pieces. Before Treant Druid, this would be like my, hey, you're a standard player, do you want to come try out Wild? Try this out. This has so many fun elements to it. The best card in the deck is
elements.
I wasn't even trying for that one. The best card in the deck is Inferno Herald. For every time you play a fire spell, get a random elemental. It costs 3 less. Minus 3 mana is to me an important breakpoint in Wild. It's the breakpoint where if you knock 3 mana off a lot of cards, they start looking a lot better. You know, it's like your options at the bar open up after drink number 3. Mana number 3 does much the same sort of effect. There's a lot of free elementals that are just good. There's a lot of expensive elementals. Like, I've randomly generated a 7 mana Neptulon multiple times, and then also had an elemental evocation in my hand, which meant I had a 5 mana Neptulon. Like, you can do some very silly things. I don't think Neptulon's supposed to be in the Discover pool, but you know what? I'm not going to look to get a gift horse in the mouth. So, once you've got a bunch of cheap elementals in your hand, we've got Windswept Page Turners that you can drop down behind the Inferno Herald and then spam a bunch of cheap elementals and kind of blow your opponent away, because elementals are usually aggressively statted. Like, they sometimes have good effects. They're usually aggressively statted, but they usually cost like about 1 or 2 mana more than your average pirate. Well, we're knocking off 3 mana off of this. So we're making like 1 mana 4/5s that discount every elemental in your hand and deck. Like, we're doing silly stuff like that, and it's really cool.
Awesome. No, 100%. I've been also, I know it's not the exact same, but playing Elemental Mage in Standard, that deck is so fun. It's so fast. And
this plays a little bit different because you're not doing like the spell damage thing, right? But like they're gonna feel very similar, and that's like I think another benefit is like it feels a lot like a standard deck. It's just the fact that it's like a good, honest tempo board-based deck that's familiar. And also there's an RNG element so that you get to actually enjoy other parts of Wild that you wouldn't get to otherwise because the cards are so obscure. That just like that like makes the deck so romanticized in my head for me.
So that is what we have for the list. Schmoopiedady, did you have a question that you were going to ask me?
Yes.
Unrelated Advice with Hydralisk.
Always so nervous.
Hydra.
Schmoopy.
Today, to save time to get onto the show, because I came from pickup soccer and I was like, hey, I got to take a shower. And so I took my shower, but I needed to save time. I needed to urinate and also take a shower. So I did both at the same time. What I'm curious is, what are some practices that you have to get someplace in a hurry just in case, like you're running late, you know you got to go someplace, you're desperate. What are some tips and tricks that you have that can cut some corners and save you some time?
Well, Schmoopiedady, you've come to the right place as a man who has urinated in many more places than just a toilet. So, what you need to do, obviously, is you save some time already. The point number one, you got two birds stoned at once, right? You were taking a shower, you went to the washroom. Perfect, right? Well, why wouldn't you? Another thing you could do, and so this is a little tip to everybody. So under the seat in my Dodge Ram that I have, I've got a water bottle. It's not for water. No, that is when I'm stuck in traffic bottle. And sometimes you gotta go when you gotta go, right? So
incredible.
That is, that is there for a reason. Schmoopiedady, I don't have the bladder of a 20-year-old anymore, okay? So you need to be able to be prepared for any situation. Imagine, like where I live, if I'm waiting for the ferry or like whatever I'm doing, I'm stuck in Vancouver traffic, bro, you gotta have that water bottle.
Wiser words have never been spoken, and you heard that on
More to be wild.
Piss bottle was not on my bingo card. All right, let's see where we can send people.